I'll kick things off if that's okay. I'll
All
kick
right.
things off and then turn it over to you guys. I think you're doing the same thing I am, just sort of noting who's here.
Exactly.
Awesome. Okay, great. All right. Well, I'll kick things off. I think I'm a little bit of the common denominator here. So I am so excited to see you all here. I'm Townley Goldsmith Ray, Executive Director for Richmond SHRM. I have been probably way over communicating with all of you about just the chapter in general and your involvement with this particular program that we offer. I'm excited to have you all here tonight. You are in good hands. I'll start with that. Um, I'll just do quick sort of like support message here. From the chapter perspective, I'm always here if you need anything. Obviously, part of the intent of this program is for you to build a network within the larger chapter network. We certainly want to make sure that we support you over the next, I guess it's right now, it's going to be 14 weeks, but specifically during your 12 weeks, you'll be heads down focused on the program and collaborating here with this cohort. But I'm always available if you need anything. And of course, we'll be at chapter programs and events and hope to see you when you're available to come up for air at those events throughout the end of this year. And of course, when you come out on the other side of the study group and the exam, we have lots of ways for you to gain those recertification credits through programs, through conferences, and of course through volunteering. So I'm here for support. I can answer any questions that you have about sort of general chapter stuff. Adrienne is really your go-to when it comes to certification related stuff. But I just want to say we're excited to go on this journey with you. Congratulations on taking this big step. And we're just here to support you. And I can be additional support by connecting you to folks outside of this cohort if you need further support during your journey. So, with that, I'm going to turn it over to Adrienne, and I look forward to staying in touch with you all throughout the process.
Well, wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Townley. We so appreciate you. And welcome, everyone. I am Adrienne Taylor Parham, and we are going to get intimate for the next 13 weeks. So just buckle down.
Adrienne, Queen Adrienne, how are you?
Good. How are you, Miss
I'm good.
Pam?
I'm good. I'm here with you one more time. I'm gonna do this one more time, Miss Adrienne. One more time.
And you're going
Yes,
to get it done.
done. That's right.
So we
Okay.
so appreciate you being here.
Yes.
So, everyone, congratulations to you all for one, taking the first step, being courageous, and stepping out to obtain your SHRM CP or SHRM SCP certification. To solidify that goal, what I would like for you to do is register for your exam by Tuesday, September the 16th, which is the second week of our class. Um, and and that will be your commitment. If you're on the fence, have any questions regarding which exam to take, we can chat offline about that. I'll be happy to meet with you on that. And to Townley's point, it really takes a village. um, you know Working at a professional organization, and Townley does an amazing job as the executive director of Richmond SHRM, like working for us to put on the best webinars, programs, seminars, and networking events in the state, hands down. How many of you were at the summer social recently? Those that were, that was an amazing event. And it's things like that, you know, people behind the scenes have to do. So I would be remiss if I did not give a shout out to Beth Peterson, uh, Carol Ben Susan, Chastity Atkins, and Ebony Wilkins. It's like for getting things done, like in the background. And as far as you all are concerned, now that you are a participant in the study group itself, there will be more than enough opportunities for you to take the reins and pay it forward as a volunteer as well. So just be looking forward to those opportunities. And as we get going, I will send you little reminders of, you know, what's going on with Richmond SHRM and how you can tap into that. Pam can be a great testament to that as well. We will have a few special guests tonight. Want to thank Kiki Gottlieb for joining us. And hopefully we will have Alexis Tompkins as well as John Lloyd to join us as well. And, you know, the reason for that, I really believe that, you know, it's valuable information for you not to only hear from me because I was a study group participant, but from other folks who have, you know, taken specifically my class and have been a part so that you can hear firsthand for them of their experience, what worked well for them, you know, how they attack the material, etc., to basically get things done. So just as a start, let me tell you a little bit about myself. Then we will delve in with our special guests, and we will circle back around to you because I want you to hear from them first and then answer the following questions. So what I want to do is to just bounce around and have you just to introduce yourself with your name and give me your personal why of, you know, why you are pursuing your SHRM certification at this time. I don't want to hear like, oh, my boss, my teacher, my coach, my this one, my that, you know, someone else told me it would be great. I need for you to dig down and tell me, you know, why you want it, because that's going to be the fuel that's going to drive you to get you through the next 13 weeks with us, because no one else can do it for you. You have to do it for yourself. So during the course of this hour together, just be thinking about like, why do I want it? And it has to be something that's bad enough for you to dig in and get it done. So a little about me. I have over 20 plus years in human resources. I am proud to be a woman Marine and also a marathoner. And I've set a lofty goal for next year with my coach to be a USATF master sprinter champion in the 100, 200, and 400 meter races. So, you know, just always having something on deck. So let me tell you a bit about my connection to the Richmond SHRM Study Group. So I took, I was a participant in the study group in the fall of 2021. And Chastity was the facilitator at that time. While in the study group, I met Ebony Wilkins, and we were both taking the SHRM SCP together. We had a little micro group with the 3 people that were taking it, and, and made a connection that way. So we're together, fast forward, we both get through, we both pass it, and Ebony takes over the reins to be the facilitator for the group. And about a year and a half later in 2023, I get the call of, hey, we were just thinking, you'd be good at being a facilitator. And, and that's when you put on the doo-doo-doo. I'm sorry, but this call has been disconnected. No. it was like really cool, and I was like, sure, let me try my hand at that. And haven't looked back, and this is my 3rd year of teaching. And the web continues because John Lloyd, who just recently passed his SCP certification, will be taking over the reins in January. And I am so excited, about that. So as far as the course format, this is going to be an exciting journey, but it is going to be a wild ride. So buckle up, because it's going to be amazing. But this is what I need from you, because you're going to have to, balance your life. You're going to have to balance work, everything that's going on, to carve out that time that's necessary for you to pass your certification. So what this course is not, this course is not covering the SHRM learning system. We are not going to have coursework to go over all the chapters in the book. That's going to be your personal responsibility in between each course, each session, if you will. So, but what we're going to do is, one, we're going to have fun, right? Because we're going to breathe. We're going to take our time and just explore the content. We're going to go over supplemental information that just enhances everything that you've already read. We're going to have interactive open discussions. It's going to be on Zoom, similar to this format. So I need you all plugged in and, cameras on, so we can feed off of one another, right? Because that's what it's all about, everyone supporting one another, and, and having that accountability element in it as well. Because this is not a walk in the park. Everybody has received, all of these books, and it's not a laughing matter. You're gonna have to buckle down, but the secret is, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time, right? So it's just carving out that time on a daily, weekly basis to get through the information. None of us are perfect. And, and there may be a time when, you just can't get it done. But what do? You just breathe, you take a pause, and you refocus, and you get right back on the train and move forward. So if everything is in gravy, give yourself some grace. If we need to connect because, you feel like you're about to fall over the cliff, call me. I'm here. I am your biggest cheerleader. And it's my goal and my intention to make sure that you all get across the finish line. But the reality is, you have to be the one to do the real work, right? So, let's get it done. Let's have fun doing it. And hey, and we'll celebrate each other's success, one by one. Hey, Pam. Pam's the first one to take the exam. And guess what? We're all going to be there to cheer her on so that in her mind, she knows that she has a cheering squad. She knows that she has done the work, and she knows because she's confident that she can get it done. And you all can. You all can get it done, but you have to put in the work. And as long as you do that, you are going to be successful. SHRM has certain elements, and they created the LMS system because they know it works. It's foundationally correct. This isn't something that you can just kind of just shift and come to it when you feel like it, because it's a body of work that SHRM has said is the foundation for all HR professionals. And so if you don't read it, you don't know what it is. And if you don't know what it is, then you're going to have a hard time, getting through the information to get it right. And I don't want you to get to the exam and, miss the opportunity to pass by a small margin. Okay? So with that, I would like to, let's see who has come. So Rakira took our certification course back in the fall of 24. And I would like for her to just share a little bit with you of, her approach, her experience with the study group itself. If the exam was what she anticipated in her head, and afterwards, how has obtaining her certification benefited her. So Rakira, I can actually do it.
Hi, Adrienne.
Hello. How
How are
are
you?
you, my dear?
I'm fine. Thank you for asking. So I have been in HR maybe for a total about 5 or 6 years, not consecutively. I was in HR straight out of college, and then I got married and had a baby, and I got a job that was making way more money in finance. So I dropped HR and I jumped into finance, and I made a whole lot of money for some years, right? But then as my children got older, I was like, I've always wanted to be in HR. Maybe it's time for me to do some stuff that I want to do since I'm more established in my career. And I did leave finance and I jumped back into HR with very little experience. And I was there for like about 3 years. And I just decided to get the certification because, when you're serious about a career, you want to have the credentials, right? You want to have the head start for promotions or certain jobs. So that was my reasoning for doing it. I want to be considered an expert in any career that I'm doing. So that was my other reason for doing it. I did take the certification course through my employer the first time. It was completely different from Adrian's class. It was extremely rigid. It was very classroom style, right? So chapter one, a bulletin A, bulletin B, remember this vocabulary. It was very classroom structured, and it was overwhelming that way. So I was studying like I was back in college. I felt like that's the kind of work I felt like I was doing. And I did fail the exam the first time, I think by like 5 points. They give you like a range. You know, you missed it by maybe, I think it's like 1 to 3 questions or something like that. So I was kind of devastated by that because I was so close. But then I was like, well, I was also so close, right? So that's, at least I didn't fail by 50 points or 20 points. That kind of gave me the oomph to keep on, like, let me just do it again. So I signed up with Adrian, and I actually called her just to ask her some questions. And she said, hey, we actually have a class that's starting. And I was like, oh, that's a sign. Like, let me sign up, because that was too on point. It was the right time. And I signed up with her, and I really enjoyed the class. It was more interactive. I feel like the way we talked about things, I got a better understanding of the actual material versus approaching it like, let me remember all of this vocabulary, right? Let me remember these 20 vocabulary words. And when you memorize stuff, you might not have a full understanding. I feel like we actually talked about it and were able to apply it to scenarios and situations, which helped me to understand it better. And the difference I see, and well, we also had times, right, where I think me and Adrian, I caught COVID. I know me and you got sick. Like, we were in class, everyone was tore up. Our voices were going crazy, and we were struggling through the class. And I think I even missed one, but even when I missed that class, I made sure I sat on my couch and I did my readings that she sent me, right? Do your reading, and when we got to class the next time, I still tried to be prepared to kind of address the scenarios. I think one of the things that helped me with Adrian's class was in class, when we went over the scenarios, we would get the answers wrong all the time. Like, but I think that helped, like, to get it wrong. And then for her to say, is this, do you really think that's a good approach? This is why, we got this wrong, versus sitting on the computer like I did the first time taking the quizzes, and they're telling you you got it wrong, but you're not really getting that feedback as to what I'm doing wrong. I felt like the personal touch with the class was gave more explanation, and I feel like that helped. I feel like what I did wrong the first time was I overstudied. I'm going to tell you that right now. I literally studied up to the morning that I was going to take the exam, and when I got in there to take the exam, I think I didn't realize this until I took it the second time and I saw the stark difference. I had a serious brain fog because I just overstudied. I did too much. My mind was completely cluttered. And I felt very flustered taking the exam the first time. The second time when I took the class with Adrian, we took it. It was, we had to do our readings, and we did our questions, but I just didn't feel that, like it was getting beat into me, where it was exhausting me. I didn't feel that same kind of exhaustion, I think, with the way I approached it the second time. And I was still nervous when my exam came along the second time. I was like, oh, like, because I remember how I studied the first time and I missed it by such a small margin. And I was like, I didn't study like that. I'm not going to pass. And everybody was just like, go take the exam. Don't reschedule it. Just take it, just relax. And I was this close to rescheduling, because I felt like, since I didn't study the way I studied the first time, that I was going to fail. But when I sat down to take the exam the second time, I had a clarity that I cannot really explain. I just know that I was taking the exam and I was like, I'm doing this right. Like, I felt good about it after I finished the first section, right? Because I wasn't feeling weighed down like I was that first time. Like, I was really like tired and exhausted mentally the first time. And I was like, this feels right. I feel like I'm getting this right. And I remember the first time I was doing flashcards, right? Like, trying to remember every single definition, every single, and the exam, I feel like, was not even like that, right? It wasn't like, what is this definition? It was, if you're in this scenario and this happens, what theory does this most reflect? So that's what I mean when I say understanding the definitions versus memorizing the definitions, right? And I think I was able to do so good the second time. So when I finally got to that last section, I was like, this feels right. And even though I was telling myself it feels right, I was still nervous to hit that submit button. But when I hit it and it passed, I was like, I knew I did good. Like I could tell that I was doing better. And I was glad that I didn't cancel because I almost talked myself out of, I almost played myself. So I was glad that I took a chance on myself and like let the doubts not push me to not do it. I told myself, worst case scenario, if I fail it again, I'll just retake it because failing for me is not an option. Like I was not going to accept that defeat. So I was going to have to take it a third time. But I think since I was glad that I didn't talk myself out of succeeding in that. So, Adrian talked to us a lot about being confident, right? Like don't downplay yourself and think that you're going to automatically fail. Don't do that. And it's easy to say we won't do that, but the nervousness gets to you and you can kind of trick yourself into that. So I would say don't do that to yourself also. So that's my experience with it. So now I'm in there and I'm just having to do my, CEUs to keep up everything.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much,
Yep.
Kiki.
No problem.
We appreciate you sharing with us. All right. Well, now the man of the hour, John Lloyd Jr. John, just introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about your experience with the study group, taking the exam, and give us a couple of takeaways, if you would, sir.
Yes, hello, my name is John Lloyd Jr., and I have just recently passed the SCP exam. I think they are very similar, the CP and SCP. So I decided for my efforts to go for the senior one right off the bat. I did have to take it twice. My first time taking the exam, I realized I had a lot going on and I could not organize my time, my study time well enough to compensate for the chaos that was happening in my life at the time. And the whole time I was thinking as I got towards the end of the 12 weeks that I could just make up that time. And I quickly realized it's very difficult to make up several weeks when you haven't been keeping up. So the intensity of the 12 weeks is real. There's some slippage that can happen where you can kind of make up that ground, but you quickly you get to the point if you, for example, if you get 3 weeks behind, that's when it's the Herculean effort. It becomes very, very difficult to catch up at that point. So each week you need to devote the appropriate amount of time to the program, to the studying and your efforts towards the end, whatever strategy you're going to use to take the exam. Once I had a chance to regroup, I also realized that every area of study, what I mean is you have flashcards, you have the modules where you read the different sections, and then you have the end of the module uh, quizzes. You have the books, either the hard books or you have the electronic version of the books, and whatever else is available. I quickly realized that everything that they offer for you to study is valuable. It's there for a reason. I took for granted again in my first effort. I took for granted the flashcards. Although Adrian kept she kept hitting us about those flashcards, the importance of the flashcards, because I think it's easy for people to think that they don't matter that much. You can make up the knowledge in other areas, but the flashcards will give you a certain foundation that the other components, learning components, don't give you. And I found that particularly important because even when you face a question, when you go through the different areas of study, leadership, or global mindset, or whatever the case may be, your mind, who you are, you're going to focus on certain areas more than others. And so you'll get to the exam and you're like, that question is in the area that just didn't stick very well with me. But I found that if you made the effort to go through the flashcards, that you can use that knowledge by understanding the definition of certain things to help you get through that question, even though you're not strong in your background or knowledge of that area. So it all plays together. So once I was able to regroup and go at it again, I was very methodical about how much time I was going to spend each day. I had a plan. For example, when I took the section quizzes before I got to the module quiz, I wanted to get 100% on the section quizzes and above 80% on each module before I moved on to the next one. And I made sure that I read a certain amount each day. And if I missed it, I would try to make that up. I try to keep up on my reading. So, there was not 2 days. I did not go more than 2 days without touching this material. And that's a fact. And it's only doing that you're able to get through the vastness of the material that's there. So, but if you do that, then you have a fighting chance. The other part of it is, and I think Rakira was had mentioned it, you have to have a strategy when you take the exam. One of the things I also did was um, I'm a morning person. I'm sharpest in the morning. But for some reason, I scheduled my exam in the afternoon. I have no idea why I did that. I think maybe I was afraid that I wasn't going to wake up. I was going to be late or something. I don't know why. And so I go and take the exam. I felt like I had got enough sleep, but my body likes to shut down at noon. And it's like nothing you can do to get beyond it. My eyelids get heavy. I just start to shut down, and then about 2 o'clock, I come back alive. And sure enough, I get to the exam, and I was struggling, and it was just my natural. And I had taken I I use some it's not speed or anything, but you take some of those things where you go work out to kind of give you a energy boost. Did not help because my body was basically, it was like, this is what I do every day. This is what I do. And no matter what I tried, the coffee, it just would not, I could not find my zip, to, get through the exam like I wanted. So the whole time I was struggling. I'm pretty sure I fell asleep a couple of times. I nodded off or whatever. So that was also a lesson for me. Pay attention to your body and how your body functions when you're most alert. How you eat, all that stuff will matter. I felt like the testing room was comfortable enough for me. It wasn't too distracting for me, although people have some stories surrounding that, but I could not blame anything on the testing room. That's what I'm saying. It was all me. So second time around, I made sure I got that sleep. I ate correctly the night before. I think I had a little bit of coffee, and I was in that parking lot early, just kind of jamming out or whatever, getting my thing on. And I just bust in there. I kicked the doors open. I was like, I'm ready to do this. And so it's one of those things I think too, when when you're getting the questions you can feel that, okay, I pretty much got that one. I got that one. I got it. And you kind of keep tabs in your head. So I was kind of using that as my momentum. So yeah, so all those things, everybody has their own kind of general way of approaching exams, that's for sure. But make sure that you understand who you are and how you test and use all those things to your advantage.
Okay, wonderful. Well, thank you so much, John. Um, we have a quick question. Um, what would you say, John and Kiki, was your overall time commitment per week to study for the exam?
Hmm. Um,
And I realize it'll be different for everyone.
I don't know. I mean, I would say easy, like a part-time job. There was some days that I studied for 6 hours, and some days I studied for an hour or two. So sometimes you into it. I'm an empty nester, so once I get into my little office here, there's nobody to really disturb me. So unless there's something, I can kind of go on for a while. So there was some long days, trying to read the material, and then there were some short days. But if I knew I had short days, I always defaulted to my flashcards. Because you can do that not while you're driving, but if you're on a bus or you're sitting for waiting on an appointment, you can always go through your flashcard. So I try to make sure there was a touch point somewhere.
I
Okay.
think for me, I have kids. I have school age children, and I was working, so it was a little different for me. And also, I think, like he said, your study type, right, is going to play into that. I'm not a person who sits there for hours on end and study. I just can't do it. I'll start zoning out, and I know that. So I usually would maybe the first day, like after you sent the material out, I would probably go through and read some stuff first. And then that's one day of maybe like an hour and a half, 2 hours max, right? But usually around like an hour, hour and a half. And then I would another day, even if I waited like a day or so, jump back in and I would go through and answer the scenarios. And in answering those scenarios, I would still be like reading through material, right, to try to answer the questions and see what the best approach is. So that's a type of studying, to do that. So I would do that for like another hour to hour and a half. So I would say for me, in a week, probably about 3 hours, not including our class time. I'm talking about outside of the class time that we had outside, because we did what, 2 classes a week?
Just
No,
one.
just
Just one.
one.
Just one a week?
So
I
it
can't
might
even
have felt
remember. It
like two,
wasn't.
but
It wasn't
It
even
felt
that
like
long
2 or
ago, and I
3,
can't
right?
remember. So yeah, outside of our class time, I think so. I would probably get like a good 3 to 4 days of about an hour, to an hour and a half, 3 to 4 days, and it was usually about 3 days. But some when I had extra time, like when we had like a holiday or something, I might do some extra, or something like that. Yeah.
and it's worth
Okay.
mentioning, we got together for a study group, which um, it turned out to be pretty valuable because we challenge ourselves to, take off the training wheels and try to, articulate some of the concepts and things without having the book in front of us. And so that was, it kind of gave us a feel for any gaps that we had. And then we were able to go back and kind of address those deficiencies well before we were confronted with the exam.
I agree. And I think whether a person got a scenario answer right or wrong, it was very common in our class to say, John, why did you pick that? What were you thinking? Because he would have, from person to person, you approach things completely different. You pick up different things out of scenarios. Um, and I realized, for instance, like when John would answer questions, he has a method to the way he approaches questions and what he looks for. And that method was totally different from mine. That comes from his work experience and his, you know, the things that he's encountered, because I would be like, oh, I didn't think of that. You know what I mean? Like, and I think that's really important for you guys to, if you can, to like discuss stuff together. If you can get together, that really helped me to see how other people approach things and why this stood out to them and why they thought that way. That was very, very helpful for me.
Okay, wonderful. Well, you've heard from both John and Kiki. So now I would like to shift gears and just bounce around for you all to introduce yourselves to us and then, you know, wrap up with any other additional questions that you would have for us. So the magic question of the night is, who would like to go first?
I'll just do it. Get it done with.
Hey.
Hey everyone, my name is Meg Allery. I'm actually probably a unique outsider to this group. I'm joining from Dothan, Alabama. So my teammate, my coworker Montanique, who's also in this group, is from that area, and she knew that I was going for my SHRM SCP. I got my CP in 22 and was looking for something to augment, you know, my personal studies, and invited me to this group. So thank y'all for having me. I'm excited. I think it'll bring a lot of value. And yeah, that's me, Meg Allery. Looking forward to it, everyone.
Give us a fun fact about you, Meg.
A fun fact about me. Well, what's fun about me? This goes back a bit, but I think it's a unique fact about me. I had a home birth with my youngest child. So
Oh, wow.
that's not a typical.
Ah, pretty good. Okay, Jennifer.
Hi, everyone can hear me, I think. Yes, I'm
Yeah.
Jennifer Miles. I am from Syracuse, New York, and I live in Richmond, Virginia. And I've been in HR for now 16 years, even though I did every field that led up to it, from insurance to 401ks to you name it. Fun fact, did I cover everything? How did I get here? Oh, wait. I took the test as soon as I got out of college and thought I was ready to do my PHR. And then I said, oh, wait, I'm not ready for this yet. So then I never circled back because I was working in the government and we really didn't have a lot of need for this in that aspect because it's totally private side type information. So I'm going to be flipping my brain. It's going to be interesting. But I attended a welcome class this morning and they're like, start studying before you go to work. So you can get out that mode. So I'm going to try that out. Fun fact about me. I have kids that all are having a different individual only child experience. So my oldest is 27. My daughter is 20, who's a junior in college. And then I have a second grader. So I have the full
Wow.
scope of what did you do, lady? So this is going to be an interesting thing here. So I'm excited though.
That's
Oh,
real fun.
wonderful. Well,
Oh yeah.
welcome.
So when you said empty
Welcome,
nester, I was like, not me.
Not for a while, at least, right?
No, the highlight is the older two. The 7-year-old thinks I live with him. I drive his car and all that good stuff. So he actually gets along with us all well because he thinks he's running the house. And he's told me he has aspirations to be in HR one day.
Oh, sweet. Wonderful. So he's taking notes. He's taking
Yeah,
notes.
smart kid.
Absolutely.
So
Okay,
thank you
Laura.
guys.
Thank you, ma'am. Laura.
Hi, everybody. I'm Laura McClintock. I've been in Richmond for about 7 years. Before that, it was either DC or Seattle. Earlier this year, I was affected by all the federal drama. So I'm actually trying to figure out what I'm doing next. I have overseen HR in 3 different organizations, but I'm not an HR practitioner. And that sort of jumps out at me as being both very lucky because those situations worked out well, but it feels to me like to respect the profession the way that I want to. I have my own work to do to be able to stand on my own feet with my own HR knowledge, my own basic HR knowledge. Rather than doing what I have done, which I have been happy to do, and rely on strong HR directors. And then I do my part. But my sister, I guess I'll offer, this is not quite a fun fact about me, but I'll say this because I say it to most HR people. My sister, who is very dear to me for many, many reasons, is an HR professional, and she's a practitioner. She has always been, for me, like my go-to HR counselor, ethicist, help me solve problems, ask stupid questions, because she's just very, very good at what she does. And the other thing I'll say is I have a background working with unions and the labor movement. And I also worked at the Department of Labor for 6 years. So I have been around labor law and the dynamics of HR and employment policies for most of my career, but that is not the same. And I just want to say to everybody who does this work, I know that it's not the same as being an HR practitioner. So that's why I want to do this. And every role that I'm kind of in the mix for, or that I'm drawn to right now, has an HR component. And so what I want to do is my SCP and just shore up my own credentials and have a better foundation of my own HR knowledge on my own. That's me.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much. Welcome. Robin.
Hi, y'all. So I have John and Kiki we know each other well from me joining the class prior. I had kind of an odd experience because I had my exam scheduled, then it got rescheduled, not once, but twice, thanks to the snow. And then some other personal things happened and I lost my job. And so when I went in for my SHRM exam, Adrian can attest, I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna do. This is not this is not, no. So I automatically went in with the mindset of I have failed and, all this studying and everything hit me all at once. And so I am here again and I plan on passing because I'm determined that no matter what comes along, I'm not going to let the circumstances overcome me. I will tell you from experience, you will need this group. You will need to lean on this group. You will also need to, again, following up with John and Kiki, study, 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 and not get in your head. One of the things Adrian always says, it's not what your job would do. It's not what your work would do. It's not what your experience is. It's the SHRM way. So, those are kind of my takeaways from this. And so, fun fact about me, on the other hand, is I have been married 27 years. I have 5 kids and 3 grandkids. And so my why is that I did everything for them for the longest time. And I'm doing this so that I can have the knowledge, the further knowledge of HR and be the expert that people go to and refer to with those letters behind my name. So, yeah.
Wonderful. We are so happy to have you back.
Thanks.
Okay, Pam.
Sorry. Hello,
Oh.
everybody. My name is Pam, and my situation is unique too because I've been on this journey with Adrian twice. I first was introduced to SHRM. I took Ebony Wilkes' class, and Miss Adrian, you were in there as one of us, getting your, studying to do what she's doing. So I took the test when I got out of Ebony's class, and of course I failed. Everything Ebony told me not to do. Oh, no,
You
I didn't fail. I
fail.
didn't pass. I'm sorry.
Right.
I didn't
Okay.
pass. And everything that Ebony told me not to do, I did. I had time left over. I changed my answers. I second guessed myself, and something Miss Adrian, you told me to do when I took your class. I was with Rakia and John for a little while until I had to go out on knee surgery, and I wasn't able to finish the class. So I am back again, and thankful for Townley and you guys for letting me come with my $200 to carry over to this class. This time, I am determined, and I like what John said that, and Rakia said, you have to know that you got a different mindset. The first time I was in pain, I had a lot going on. I didn't commit to the studying. And of course, I'm a caregiver, so I let everything get in the way of my study time. And I'm a procrastinator. That's so bad, a procrastinator. So this time I am determined to do the best. And I agree that we need the study group. I work on the federal contracts with Maximus. I'm an HR specialist. We now went through an HR transformation. And for me, my why is because I want to be that expert in my HR field. I want to be the one that when people come to me and ask questions like they always do, I want to be able to know what I'm talking about. And I want to be that professional as well as be that strategic leader in my HR transformation group as I've now transitioned to another job in the field. So I am definitely going to lean on you guys. One fun fact about me, there is everything fun about me. So I'm fun. So that's my fun.
All right.
I'm fun.
Well,
Okay. I'm going to keep you laughing. So
well, we're
I
gonna
am so
hold you to
excited
it.
to be with you guys, and definitely, hopefully I can join one of your focus groups or whatever group you all decide. And I live in Richmond as well. Yes.
Wonderful. Well,
Yes.
thank you so much,
Thanks.
Pam.
You're welcome.
Simone?
Hi, I'm Simone Clay. I joined, or I live in Richmond. I work at the Department of Housing and Community Development, and I just graduated from Louisiana State with my bachelor's in human resources. So I'm studying for this exam to kind of up my expertise and complete my education in HR so I can feel fully prepared. Also, since I'm working in the federal government, or not in the federal government, in the state government, it's been recommended that I kind of get ahead of it before I kind of get too much state government knowledge so that I can not have to unlearn some things. So I think I'm really excited to get started. And a fun fact about me, I have a horse. Her name is Karis, and she is 14 years old. So I go and visit her a lot, and it's really fun.
Sweet. Well, welcome, Simone.
Thank you.
So
Thanks for
glad you're
having me.
joining us. Adam?
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Adam Pearson, and I am a Richmond born and raised native. I am joining into this program truly because I feel as if my experience has always been in my customer's field and not as much in the human resources side. And so I've wanted to grow my knowledge base for them, but also show that not only do I have the experience with the groups, but also I have this as well to add a little bit of value to my portfolio. Fun fact for me is something actually I keep in my back pocket, I would say. I have a board game collection in my basement that is close to 600, and it is going to continue growing for more years that my 5-year-old and 2-year-old can eventually enjoy playing with me.
Oh, wonderful. Sweet. Well, welcome, Adam.
Thank you.
Montanique?
Hello, everyone. My name is Montanique Pulley. I actually grew up in Richmond and then I transitioned to the Hampton Roads area. And now I currently live in Charlottesville, Virginia. I would say I'm pursuing my SHRM certification just to grow as an HR professional, gain that deeper knowledge in the field, and then also be able to build valuable connections within the HR community. A fun fact about me, I would say, is that I'm a living playlist. Um, I walk around and have conversations with my boyfriend, and he'll say a word, and then I'll start singing a song with the word in it. So yeah.
Sweet. I like that. Well, welcome, Montanique.
Thank you.
Danielle?
Nick, I'm the same way, by the way. So, good evening, everyone. Sorry, I am currently sick, so forgive me for how I sound. But I'm Danielle. I am currently working as a diversity and inclusion manager. So, and I'm also in the Lynchburg area. So my why for obtaining my SHRM certification is one, I have a 10-month-old daughter. And when I was pregnant with her, I said, you know, I need to make sure that I'm enhancing my career, right? I want her to see mommy doing X, Y, and Z. And I not only want to be an expert in D&I, but I want to make sure I'm an expert in HR. I've always kind of been in the people helping role, right? So I want to make sure that I have the credentials and the knowledge behind me. Fun fact about me is that I used to be a police officer many moons ago. So when I say the people
Sweet.
field, I've been in the people field, literally.
Absolutely. Well, welcome. We're so glad you're joining us.
Let me hide this stuff that I have back here.
That was many moons ago.
Old habits.
Satchel.
Some habits die hard.
Satchel.
Okay, so it's Tashelle.
Tashelle. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. I get that all the time, Tachel. It's Tashelle. I'm from Richmond, Virginia, born and raised. Been working in the human resource field for over 8 years. Not consecutive. I did 5 at VCU and 3 where I'm currently are now at a mental health facility. Still basically getting the knowledge of being in the HR role, but wanting those credentials to kind of back me up. Fun fact about me, I have 2 kids that's 14 years apart and their birthday is on the same day. So I have a 4-year-old and an 18-year-old that was born on July 6th.
Cool. Wow. Well, welcome.
Thank you.
Tashelle, I got it.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Spencer?
Hi, everyone. I'm Spencer Lemish, or Lemiesh. I actually am from Wisconsin, where, as my last name is a bit Polish, there's a large concentration of Polish speakers and those that have moved on over. I am new to Richmond, actually having relocated here with my partner to be closer to his family, actually, after spending the last 2 years taking a bit of a professional pause and caregiving, relocating, enjoying life a little bit, if I can say that to the group here. So for myself, I'm actually, after taking a little bit of pause, I most recently was the director of employee experience over at Foot Locker, after spending a decade plus having a chance to be through HR BP roles, COE roles. And so now that I'm 2 years out of practice, perhaps, looking to jump back in, get those wheels going a bit while I look for a new opportunity here in Richmond and grow my network. So very excited to be here. Many layers, but definitely very excited to be part of the group.
Wonderful. And we're excited to have you.
Awesome.
Kristen.
Hi, everybody. My name is Kristen. I actually started this journey with the study group last class, and life was happening and I couldn't get through it. Since then, a lot of great changes. So I'm in a situation where now I'm kind of forced to dedicate the time, but it's all good. I'm originally from Richmond. So I have maybe now almost 15 years of experience in HR. And my reason for pursuing this certification is that I want to broaden my horizons a bit. So I'm excited about being dedicated to this group. I have a great feeling about it. Fun fact about me, which explains why I haven't been on camera. I'm having my baby girl tomorrow. So I am packing up my bag and getting my son off to his best friend's house for the week, as my daughter will be here tomorrow at 7:30 a.m. So here I am.
Wow.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Too exciting. All right, Sierra.
Congrats, Kristen, and good luck. I'm Sierra. I have been in HR for 7 years now. And my why is I feel like this is the next step in my career for, professional development, being an expert in the field. And then a fun fact about me is that I have a 3-year-old daughter and a 100-pound giant schnauzer who thinks he's a miniature schnauzer. So, yeah,
Sweet.
excited to be here.
Oh, we're excited to have you. I love it. Bianca?
Hello, everyone. I'm Bianca Stewart Williams. I have been in HR for numerous years. I could say over 10 years. Ever since undergrad, I kind of fell into it and never left. So I've been in HR for a long time, I can say. My why is I would like to, again, like everyone else, the credentials, being a subject matter expert, and also just personally for myself, career development, career growth. I want to be able to do more. I also am an adjunct instructor. So I would like to be able to have this information and be able to give to others just like you are, Adrian. Um, a fun fact about me, I see that everybody else pretty much is having some fun facts like this too, but I have a huge span between children as well. I have a daughter that is 21, and I have a 4-year-old. Well, she just turned 4 Tuesday this week. So it's going to be very interesting. I have one graduating to go off to kindergarten next year, and the other one is graduating college.
Sweet.
Yes.
Adrian, I am the oldest sister of a super young daughter. So I was 19 when my mom and dad had my little sister. And it was perfect birth control. Let me tell you, I did not. Listen, my
Yes.
mom used to say, take your sister to. So people to this day, people used to think that my sister was my baby. And I remember somebody saying, is that really your baby? And your mom, y'all just didn't. I said, no, that's really my sister. That's not my baby. So for a long time, people thought that was really my baby. But it kept me from having any desire to have children for a very long time. I did not have my first child until I was like 27. So that actually might work out in you guys' favor.
Oh, sweet, sweet. If we talk long enough, it's like we will figure out a connection, and we're seeing that with this group tonight. So Scott?
Hey y'all, my name's Scott Miller. I'm originally from Texas. I live in Richmond now. I work for a small digital marketing agency called Workshop Digital, where I was hired as a talent acquisition lead, which is basically recruiting. We did a ton of hiring over those first 2 years, and I've been in recruiting for the last, I guess, 13 or 14 years. So I've always been in an HR adjacent role, always on the HR team, but never, knowing really the core fundamentals. And so an opportunity's arisen where I have a chance to help on the HR side at this company. And so I kind of feels like I'm going to go back to school. I haven't been to school in a while. So I'm here to glean whatever I can from y'all and use y'all as a support tool for me to, I guess, kind of take this endeavor. It's been a long time. So, but yeah, back in school, I was an HR minor. I knew I always liked working with people and wanting to see them grow in their careers. But so this is kind of does feel like kind of full circle for me. So fun fact about me, my wife and I have moved, I think it's 11 or 12 times in the last 16 years. So
oh, wow.
We are never content, it seems. So yeah.
Okay, well, we'll just hold tight for the next 6 months, okay?
For sure.
All right, well, wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Scott, and welcome. Okay, who do we have left? Naya?
Yes, good afternoon or evening now. My name is Naya Terry. I am an HR generalist. I have been in HR for about 4 years now. I am here because I've always said I didn't want to just dive in and go to the exam. I wanted to feel I would know when it felt right, when I'm at a good place in my career for the next step in the educational background. And also because I don't get to work in all facets of HR just because of the structure of my organization. So it would be getting that additional, exposure to that information. And fun fact, I was the 2025 or am Rising Star recipient of Richmond SHRM.
Yay.
Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
remember seeing her at the summer social. I thought she looked familiar. Oh, congratulations.
Yeah,
It's me.
absolutely. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And thank you. Welcome. Althea, want to take us home?
Sure. Hello, my name is Althea Vini, and I live in Richmond, Virginia, and I have dibbled and dabbled in HR for some time now, but not fully got my feet wet until the last 2 years with a new opportunity at my current position. And my why is I'm always putting things off for myself, so this is going to be something on my bucket list that I'm doing for myself. And my fun fact is that I'm a big collector of Oscar the Grouch and Tasmanian Devil.
Sweet. Well, wonderful. Well, welcome.
Thank you.
Have I missed anyone? Okay, great. Well, just for the sake of time, if I have put my contact information in the chat, please take that. And if you have any pending questions before we get started, just send me a text and we can connect. So just as a few takeaways of just, what I've heard from both our special guests and from all of you, just to sum things up, half of your battle is you. So know that it's just making sure that you have the confidence, getting rid of the nerves and the jitters and just settling down and relaxing. Because if you go through all of the information, if you use the books, and you can use it in printed form, you can use it in audio form online. If you go through the flashcards, take all of the quizzes, take your pre-tests, take the exams that are out there, engage in the study group. And just so all you know, no one seems to be shy. So we're going to have a great time. And it's all about, like we've said, it's having the right mindset. What would SHRM do? Not necessarily what would you do. And that's what going through the material is going to do for you. That's what our time together is going to do for you. It's not a memorization. It's okay. Scott had an answer and it wasn't the most correct. So change your mindset from I got it wrong to it wasn't the most correct according to SHRM and their perspective. Because it's not about a right or wrong answer, because there'll be questions that, there may be 3 correct answers, but what's most correct based on this body of knowledge from SHRM, okay? And just get out of your own way, breathe, and live. You know, there is no special secret, but I'm also a John Maxwell speaker, teacher, trainer, and coach. And, you know, and I've had people to say, you know, what do I need to do to be successful? Adrian, what do I need to do? And I feel as though he summed it up in the best possible way. So let me see if let me get over this way. So if I'm holding my arm up, to be successful, it's an uphill climb, right? And it's always uphill. But if you do the work, you're going to eventually get there. But what's holding you back from getting there is the downhill distractions, right? Those downhill habits that are bad and are pulling you back. So what I would like to leave you with tonight is don't have uphill hopes and downhill habits. And if we equalize the two, you will be okay. And one last thing, your homework assignment. So need for you to take the pretest. That's the first thing that you need to do. And in taking that, this is all new material, whether you've been in HR for a minute or 30 years, it doesn't matter. What we're embarking on is something new and different according to SHRM. So when you take it, you may not pass at 100%. And that's okay because this is new learning material. Your takeaway is, you know, where am I in relationship to the SHRM perspective? And that's what we need to build off of. But it's like driving your car and going somewhere. If you don't know the directions, then you may end up anywhere, right? So take the pretest, see where you are, and we'll just move forward. You know, we've talked about, you know, all the material that we have, and let's just take it one bite at a time. So with that, start reading your competencies, because that's going to lay the framework for everything that you do in all of the learning system. You get the competencies down, then you'll be able to relate to the questions and, you know, figure out, you know, exactly what they want. So with that, thank you all so much for joining us tonight. And I look forward to being with you for the next 12, 13 weeks. We're going to have a blast. And
Adrian,
I'm so excited for you all.
Before you go, I wanted to say one more thing.
Absolutely.
And you correct me or add on it if you think it's right. One thing that what definitely helped me was Adrian told us the purpose of human resources, right? And when I would do my scenarios and my exam, I constantly asked myself, what is the purpose of human resources? Because I find that when you're reading those long scenarios, you can start to say, oh, Mark's wife was in the hospital and, you know, that's why he was drinking on the job. So maybe they cut him a break, you know, and you would it'll kind of pull and tug on your feelings when you start to read those long scenarios. But I had to constantly say, what is the purpose of HR? The purpose of HR is to protect the business, to do this, to do that. And then I would stop myself. I would catch myself as my mind, process started to flee. And I would come back by asking myself that question and say, nope, don't listen, don't think about his wife was sick or that, that's why he did this, and I feel like that was also helpful. So I just wanted to throw that in before everyone jumped off, because you guys won't see me again. Okay. And for all of you, the pretest is on the learning management system. So once you activate your management system and go out there, the first thing that it's going to ask you is, are you taking the SHRM CP or are you taking the SCP? And once you select one, it will change the framework to the CP version or the SCP version. And in your body of work, it will say, let's start with the pretest. So take that pretest to get your baseline and then just dive right into the competencies.
It's not a 15-minute test, so give yourself some time.
Give yourself some time to take it. And all of these exercises are just preparing you for test day. So same type of scenario, same familiarity, but just different questions. So if you can master these, you can translate that to the exam and master it. So any final thoughts from anyone? We good? All right, well, thank you all so much. And I look forward to getting together on September the 9th.
Bye,
Take
Miss
care.
Adrian.
Thank you.
Bye. Have a great
Bye-bye.
weekend.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
You too.
Bye-bye.